Allô, mon nom c'est Nicolas, j'ai 30 ans. Je suis sur le spectre de l'autisme et on va aller rencontrer d'autres gens sur le spectre de l'autisme durant la pandémie. So, how do you see living as someone with autism?
Well, for me, I only got my diagnosis with autism when I was in my early 30s. So I'm 40 now, and I went through the majority of my life not having any real understanding of who I was. I had the labels and the ideas and the opinions of other people and what they thought I was, which was most of the time I was a bossy know-it-all. I got called the walking encyclopedia. I was told I was too enthusiastic in school. And at the same time, despite my high marks, people still considered me dumb and stupid and unaware to some extent. So I guess having my diagnosis gave me, I call it my rebirth, because I was able to understand myself not as a person who's broken or damaged or wrong, but it gave me answers into why I'm the way I am and what I can actually do to make things better. So I kind of went headfirst into advocacy. At the time, I joined the board of Autism Canada.
Okay.
And so I was just really trying to make things easier for other people. I didn't want people to struggle the way that I did. We know that women don't get diagnosed as early as males do. We know that people of color don't get access to diagnosis the same way. There's just a lot of stigma and a lot of misunderstanding about autism. So for me, I have an interesting, I don't know, maybe it's an interesting profile, I don't know, in terms of when I feel sensory overload. Mm-hmm. I will get them from, if I'm just too tired, I can't seem to filter everything properly.
Okay.
So sometimes it can be bright lights, sometimes it'd be noise, sometimes it's crowds. I also have to actually think about how my body is feeling. I don't know if this makes sense. It's good.
Well, for me it does.
Okay, good.
For me it does.
So
it's like what the brain says and what the body do aren't exactly the same, and you have to make them understand each other. Is that it?
yeah, so I would be, let's say when I used to work in offices, I would be hot. Like the temperature in the office was too hot, and I'd be wearing a sweater and whatever, and I would have a panic attack, not realizing, and then I have to sit and go, well, why am I having a panic attack? And I'd be sweating, like, just, and I'd be like, oh, it's because I'm hot. But like, for whatever reason, there's something missing where anybody else would be like, I'm hot, let's take off my sweater. Not like just go into a panic attack. Mm-hmm. And I just need to go somewhere quiet and basically hide in the dark until it passes.
So what do you do now professionally?
So now I basically created my own job, my own business. About 3 years ago, I founded a company called Completely Inclusive, where I'm teaching companies how to be inclusive and accessible. So I feel that in order to make things more comfortable for all employees, and rather than putting all the stress on the employee to always have to advocate for themselves, I feel that if we work from the top down in a business and we change the culture just to be completely inclusive, that this is the way that will make change in society. You can't take some marginalized person and plop them in the middle of an environment and be like, oh yeah, we welcome you. It doesn't work like that. They have to have support, they have to have systems in place that already make sense for them to be welcomed. It's very hard when you're the only one of your kind, so to speak, in a place,
How did the pandemic affect your new job?
What I found most, for me, devastating at the time last year was I was booked to speak in conferences in Europe and all across Canada, and I love to travel. Okay. So all of that got canceled in the space of like a week. Every single conference I was supposed to go to Berlin and Switzerland, and anyway.
So it had a major impact.
For me, yeah. I mean, that was my greatest disappointment. A lot of that went online, and I was still able to do some of my conference speaking online. But I did panic at first, because I was like, well, I'm paid. Like, this is how I get paid to go and speak at conferences. How am I supposed to get paid now? So instead, I wrote a book. I took that time and I wrote a book. I'm kind of hyperlexic, so I read and write very quickly.
Okay.
So when I wrote my book in about 2 evenings, 2 or 3 nights. Last November, I started, what I hope will turn into a nonprofit, is the Autistic Entrepreneurs Network.
Okay.
And that is specifically, I want to really support autistic people who want to go into business for themselves. I think that we're very underestimated. What I don't want in employment, I don't want somebody to hire us because they go, oh, I'm doing such a nice thing. Sorry, car again. Car. I feel like we're kids are playing hockey and you have to
stop every 2 minutes.
Okay. So yeah, what I don't want to see is the kind of the pity hire. I don't want companies to change their job descriptions for us because of whatever belief that they think of what we can or cannot do. I think we should be hired because of the talents that we do have. We do have amazing strengths. You see job postings that have skills that are required, they say, but don't make any sense for the job.
Like, give me an example?
I've seen, it could be, let's say it's a tech company and the person is just programming. So they're sitting at their computer. They're not they're not service facing or anything like that. And the job description will say something like, must be a team player or friendly or something. And I'm like, why does that person need to be friendly? They're sitting in front of a computer programming all day long. Like,
yeah.
Do I need to smile while I'm programming? Like, what do you need? They'll say like, the receptionist has to be able to lift 50 pounds. Why? Why does the receptionist have to lift 50 pounds? Like, what are you doing at your company? Is it a moving company? Because if it's not, why are you putting skills in that aren't relevant to the task? My dream is to have
him not to come back again. En tout cas, je sais pas, okay, peut-être qu'il n'est pas efficace, parce que ça fait 3 fois qu'il passe, mais au moins, il fait sa job. Et peut-être qu'il est autiste, peut-être qu'il a manqué un petit bout, puis il va être sûr de l'avoir pogné.
So my dream is not really to have, I don't think that companies should anticipate people's needs. If they have an already inclusive environment, all the kind of accommodations that work for everybody would be available for everybody. So a lot of the times the example I like to use is the fact that a lot of business doors will have an automatic door. You push the button and the door opens. Mm-hmm. Everybody can use those doors. It's not just for people who use wheelchairs. If you have a business that's set up where there's adjustments and accommodations just built in, like accessibility already built into your business, you don't really have to worry about what each individual is going to need. If one person needs a pen today and they go get it, does that mean that all the other 20 employees are supposed to get up and get a pen? Like, why? How does that even make sense?
Yeah.
So, and instead of spending money on perks or accommodations not everybody even enjoys, spend the money on the things that people actually need